Thank you all for joining us in this wonderful evening to celebrate our very much loved state of innovation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ana Panitsopuri. I've been with Endeavor Miami for the past 2 years. And as you can probably tell by my long last name, I'm Greek. I grew up there. I appreciate those nodding. I grew up there. I moved to the northeast of the United States to gain what was for me the best education I could have access to. And something for myself here. So it begs the question, why am I here? Same with my lovely colleague Faisal over here. Why are you here?
Hello everyone. Like Anna, I too have a long last name. My name is Faisal Abul Jubain. I'm from Kuwait. I grew up in the hottest country in the world. So if you think this is hot, you need to come to my country. But I've studied in Boston, like Anna, and I spent my time really trying to understand entrepreneurship. So I decided to move to the epicenter of entrepreneurship, in my opinion, right now, which is Miami, here in South Florida. And I wanted to know what makes a strong ecosystem. How do all the forces combine to make all the progress that we see here in South Florida right now?
Over the past few years, South Florida has seen a tremendous influx of entrepreneurial migrants. So naturally, it's attracted people like us who want to support them, who want to be right next to them. That is why I'm incredibly proud to present to you today our most recent study of the entrepreneurial migration phenomenon to South Florida. In it, we have some key insights that I cannot wait to share with all of you. Now, this phenomenon has been documented by media, but its underlying reasons, and most importantly, its long term impact, has been the product of guesswork instead of actual scientific research. I am so excited to present to you this study. So, if I get my clicker to start working, I'm gonna first deep dive into some key insights, and then I'm gonna give it over to Faisal to go over the key recommendations. So, why did we conduct this study in the first place? We wanted to get a better understanding of who's moving to South Florida. Why are they moving here? But most importantly, we wanted to get a better understanding of what we can do to support, to scale, to sustain this phenomena, and to catalyze local economic development. So let's dig into the six novel findings. Now, I encourage everyone to go scan the QR code that Claudia mentioned and to download the study, read it through. We have some interactive graphs for you. But tonight, we've done some of the hard work for you, and we've distilled just six concise novel findings. So let's get to it. The first one, this entrepreneurial migration phenomenon took place in roughly four main pathways. And I'd like for you to really pay attention to them because they're going to be the lens through which we're going to see the rest of the findings. On the one hand side, we have the founders who moved here to start their companies here. We have founders who moved from other states, domestic migration, which represent the largest majority. And then we have also foreign founder migration. These are founders from other countries who moved here to start their company. On the other hand side, we have international expansion. These are founders who started their company somewhere else, but are now expanding to South Florida along with operations in other countries. And finally, we have CEO migration. These are the lone moves. These are the founders who started their companies somewhere else, but decided to move here with their families, but without their operations. So, why is it important to identify these four pathways? The reasons why the founders in each of the group actually migrated are different, and it hints directly to the fact of what will make them stay. So, this brings me to the finding number two, which concerns more so the impact that these founder migrants have had on the local ecosystem. So I want to make this a bit more interactive. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I expect at least two hands. Can anyone here guess from the founders who migrated, and over 130 founders were a part of this study, what percent of them have mentored another local founder?
90.
Okay, mix between. So the answer, which will be satisfying for someone and not satisfying for others, is actually 43. 43 of respondents, and I know a lot of you actually took the survey, so you know what I'm talking about. 43 of respondents have mentored other local founders. As a matter of fact, 14 of the respondents actually invested in local startups. Now, why is this important? Endeavor Miami's sole existence relies on successful entrepreneurs who scale and pay it forward. This is our bread and butter. There cannot be a healthy, sustainable, thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem without there being this pay it forward mentality of entrepreneurs who mentor other entrepreneurs. Which brings me to finding number 3. This finding is heartwarming and it concerns diversity. We see that migrant founders who moved here not only tolerate diversity, they embrace it. They perceive it as a key success factor in their companies. In fact, look to your right, look to your left. How many nationalities do we have represented here? Our own team of 13 has 10 nationalities represented. When we asked founders if they saw this as an advantage, the overwhelming majority said yes, especially domestic and foreign founders, which, just to remind you, are those who came here to start a company. They came here for this reason. Unfortunately, the same doesn't apply for gender diversity, as only 1 out of 10 of the founders who migrated were women. But I want to share also with you a video, which I think speaks to how much the sentiment of inclusion is a core value of Endeavor Miami. And the last thing I will note is that if we want to build this type of inclusive startup ecosystem, we want to be attracting this type of founder. The founder who will embrace diversity in their team and give equal opportunities. So let me share with you a video we prepared to showcase.
السلام عليكم، اسمي فيصل الجبين من الكويت وأنا في الأنديفر Entrepreneur Experience Team هنا في ميامي.
E aí, gente, tudo bem? Eu sou a Rebeca, eu estou representando as BRs do escritório de Miami, eu e a Becky, nós duas somos de São Paulo.
Καλησπέρα, με λένε Άννα Παπαλεξοπούλου και έχω υπάρξει μέρος της ομάδας της Endeavor Miami για τα προηγούμενα 2 χρόνια.
Hey everyone, my name is Justin Frayne. I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I've been a part of Endeavor Miami for about 2 months now.
Hola, soy Sarelio Cordero, Business Development Manager de Endeavor Miami.
أعرف جديدة هنا في ميامي. أردت أن أكون هنا في ميامي لأن ميامي مدينة سعيدة، وعندما تكون سعيد تكون مثابر ومجتهد أكثر.
E eu vim pela segurança que é trazer, né, morar nos Estados Unidos e também pela proximidade ao Brasil.
Αυτός ο τόπος για μένα συμβολίζει κάτι πολύ ξεχωριστό. Συμβολίζει μια νέα αρχή, ευκαιρίες, δυνατότητες.
El personal soy súper apasionada por el desarrollo emprendedor y qué mejor lugar que hacerlo en Miami.
But down here in Miami, I feel that everyone is working together to build up Miami to be the next big tech hub, and it is amazing to be a part of it.
Now everyone knows what I sound in Greek. The fourth concise finding I wanted to share with you was on capital. And I see a few founders and investors smirking over there, but I wanted to talk about the state of capital availability in Miami. What we found from the study, again, capital availability is a matter of perspective. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Domestic founders who moved here were disappointed at the capital availability and the investors saying they thought there wasn't enough. They didn't have enough access. On the other hand side, when we asked the same question to the international founders and the foreign founders, there was a 20 percentage point difference in how they viewed the state of capital. What does that hint at? How do we explain this phenomenon? The founders who come from other countries, historically undercapitalized, see the funding ecosystem here as abundant. Those who come from more prosperous states, New York, California, etc., see it underwhelming. Our mandate and role at Endeavor Miami is to help us and form the connections to bring the state and the networking to the level of other more prosperous states in the US. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done there. The only other sub-finding that I will mention on the state of capital availability is actually the unprecedented amount of local investment that we've seen. In fact, 7% of the rounds that the entrepreneurial migrants in the study led was led by investors in Florida. And if you compare that to previous numbers, before 2017, it was closer to 0.01. So definitely something to celebrate there. Which brings me to finding number 5. Quality of life, and what's been conventionally heard as the weather and sunshine that we all enjoy here, actually has a much, much deeper meaning. From the founders that were replied, safety and security were what stood behind what we conventionally call the quality of life. In fact, for migrant CEOs, who, as a reminder, moved here without their companies, 9 out of 10 said that it was a key point and a key incentive for them to move here. They called South Florida their new home because they wanted to guarantee that their children and their children's children have a safe upbringing, which they could not find in their own home countries. The finding number 6, and I'll leave it over to Faisal, is the ease of doing business. The majority of respondents said that taxes, regulation, and the startup-friendly environment stood as large incentives for them to move to South Florida. Anyone who came here either to start a company or with operations of a company said that it was indeed a very friendly environment to do that in. There was a small percentage of the CEO migrants, the ones that are international, that typically viewed the regulatory environment less favorably just because they could enjoy the benefits for their company, but all faced more the visa process and the more bureaucratic aspects. And with that, I'll give it over to my colleague Faisal to continue.
Thank you, Anna. There's an African proverb that we really like. If you want to move fast, move alone. If you want to move far, move together. But in the spirit of disruption, why not both? Tonight, we're here to celebrate the progress we're seeing in South Florida and understand how we've become to be one of the best ecosystems in the world. But we also need to remind ourselves what we need to do to keep our mark on the map and make it bigger and stronger and multiply the impact that our founders are creating. So here's what we need to do. For the local community, connect with the migrant entrepreneurs, welcome them to Miami, act as a mentor for them. As a matter of fact, I think we have a mentor here in the room who, Emiliano, is one of our top mentors at Endeavor. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about why you mentor and how that's important to you.
Hello. Yes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Emi Abramson. Just looking at this presentation and hearing, I guess it's a full circle for me. Originally from Argentina, I emigrated to the US 20 years ago, prior living in 3 different countries, 5 cities. And I co-founded 4 companies in my life. The most successful one is called Nearpod, the one that we formed here in Miami, and we exited 2 years ago. And we were very, very intentional on fundraising and developing the company here in Miami. It's an honor here in the room. There are some investors, early investors that trusted in our company and helped us along the way. And something that struck me when I moved to the US is how I received mentorship from extremely savvy, experienced entrepreneurs that unbiased decided to help us. And that continued along the way. We were fortunate to raise money in Silicon Valley. We also received mentorship there, here, and we decided to form the company here and grow it here because we thought we needed to give back to the Miami community and we wanted to be part of the Miami ecosystem, giving back and giving mentorship to people starting companies like we received. So now I can say that it's a privilege for me to give mentorship to a lot of people, to invest in startups now that I can, and being part of Endeavor, it's been an amazing, amazing journey.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate your perspective. It's important to invest in time in cultivating meaningful relationships because that's what creates and fosters the important conversations to build those relationships that creates the progress we see here. For the later stage founders, give the earlier stage founders a chance. Listen to their pitches. Test out their products. You were once there before, so remember that time and listen to them. For the migrant entrepreneurs, whether you're coming from Cali, Colombia, or California, welcome to Miami. And thank you for choosing South Florida as your home. We're really happy you're here. Now, I know we have Nacho here in the room as well, who is a founder himself that migrated here. And I'd love for you to give a few words on how mentorship has helped you on your journey here in Miami.
Yes, stand.
Yes, stand up.
Okay, so thank you for coming me first. And it's really a pleasure to be here. And also, I'm from Argentina as well, so I decided to move to Miami a year and a half ago. And the only thing I would mention about what the guys are doing in the study is like when I decided to move to the United States with my company, I was the only one moving. So we're not moving actually the company, neither the operations of the company, but rather we were expanding regionally in Latin America. So we decided like, where do we go? It's like, and then we found out like the best idea was to maybe be in Miami. So we are not actually today selling a lot in the United States, but rather in the rest of Latin America. But we still decided the best strategy for us was to be located here. And the reason we did it here is because I asked a lot of people that Argentinians that were living here, and they told me like, you are 20 years late in the valley, so try another place, and that place turned out to be Miami actually. And really for me, first of all, Endeavor has been a place where I felt at home really. And when you move and you are the only one in your company here, you sometimes feel like struggling a lot because you don't get to know the people, you don't get to know the ecosystem, so that's hard. And really mentorships, I got the honor to speak a couple of times with Amy and other times with Alex Roby as well. And what I found really in the mentorship was a safe space. You know, there is a place where I could really tell my problems to many people, and these people, they're people that we admire, and then they will tell us like, oh, Nacho, we've been there. It's not that bad. And sometimes you feel really, as an entrepreneur, you feel really overwhelmed. So having that word for somebody that is, somebody you admire is really calming. And that makes a lot of shortcuts. And Amy himself, he made us, he made me think a lot of things that then we implemented really in the company. So I'm really grateful for you, Amy, for Alex, and Endeavor for the space.
Thank you, Nacho.
Thank you.
Like Nacho, I encourage other people who have migrated here to connect with the local ecosystem, those who have been there, done that, so you can understand how to succeed here, like them. And it's important to cultivate strong talent here. That's what's going to attract the international companies to see Miami as a potential headquarters and help more migrant founders with the talent here to help them build out their ideas. There are a lot of events around the city, networking, gatherings, and whatnot, and that's fantastic, and it's given us the exposure we need for founders. But it's important to do that in a quality way, ones that are inclusive and productive in nature. Entrepreneur support organizations are important as well, like Endeavor. These are the people that we need to elevate, help each other, raise awareness about each other, so we can continue supporting the founders that are building ideas and making South Florida what it is today. YPO, bring your circles to us. Let us have the difficult conversations together, which would be much easier with the right people. Venture Cafe, bring your gatherings. Help more people moving here understand how they can connect with each other. CIC, help more people soft land here to Miami. I'm sure it would be very, very helpful to have a resource like that. The Knight Foundation has donated tremendously to foster STEM programs here, computer science, help ventures build here, and that creates a movement for innovation and progress that really gave us the platform to grow here. And finally, the local government. Without you, it really wouldn't have been possible to be here today and for all this to happen. You've given us a safe platform to do so, and Miami is a choice that people choose because of the quality of life. It is safe, it must be safe, it must remain affordable, and it must be welcoming to all. So I really encourage that, and thank you for all the effort so far. To end, Rodrigo here, who's an entrepreneur that is supported here in Miami, says that if the problem we are solving is global, why not go for the largest markets in the world? If we achieve success in the United States, it is a platform for global expansion. And now, I'd like to start the panel we have here today for the State of Innovation, which includes Claudia Duran, Managing Director of Endeavor Miami, and Mayor Cava as well, who represents the local government here. Thank you all for listening.